Last year I took my first ever cruise with Costa Cruises and it cost me a whopping £38 per night. You would be very hard pressed to find a hotel for £38 per night, let alone a cruise, which includes your food, your entertainment and your accommodation. Costa Cruises are very cheap and cheerful, you very much get what you pay for, and if you don't pay for much, I don't think you can really expect much in return. That said, I thought my Costa cruise was fantastic value for money, and I kind of viewed anything else that wasn't the transport as a benefit. I couldn't believe that there was any food included or any entertainment included on the cruise when it cost me £38 per night. £38 is nothing. Having said that, there were some things that made Costa Cruises very different from other cruises I've been on before. Your room is only cleaned once a day, which is not a problem. Personally, I don't think it needs doing twice a day, but that's just something that I've never seen on any other cruise line before. With most cruise lines, you'll get free tap water with your meals in the main restaurant, and that is not the case on Costa Cruises. On Costa Cruises, you do have to pay for water with meals. There is water available in the buffet, but it was very, very hard to get it out of a machine. I would be there wiggling my cup underneath it for ages, my hand. It was one of those ones which was supposed to sense when you were there, and it was kind of a situation of bzz. And I mean, it was very, very funny, but to get yourself a cup of water was quite a struggle. If I was to cruise with Costa Cruises again, I definitely would add on a drinks package, and I would recommend to anyone cruising with them to add on a drinks package. Even if you add on a drinks package, the £38 per night, even if the drinks package costs £38 per night, that is still a decent price for a cruise. For literally years, I had seen these really cheap Costa Cruises flying by on the internet, coming to me in the post, showing up on my emails. They were everywhere. If ever you see a really cheap cruise that's, you know, £40 or £50 per night, chances are that is going to be a cruise with Costa. I always wondered what they would be like, and I learned so much from this cruise. I didn't spend any extra money on food during my cruise. It's completely possible to cruise with Costa and not spend a single penny extra on food. You will, at a minimum, have a main dining room and a buffet available for you to eat from for breakfast, lunch and dinner. The main dining room was sometimes open for breakfast, it was sometimes open for lunch, and it was always open for dinner. There isn't any flexibility in dining times really, it's early or late, and you will be sat with other people. We were sat with other English people because they tend to try and put English speaking people together. I think it's just easier for the waiters. Costa are an Italian cruise line and it's generally geared towards Italian passengers. That said, you'll find people on a Costa cruise who speak French, German, Spanish, Russian, Hungarian, all kinds of languages. Dinner is a massive deal on Costa Cruises. It goes on for hours. There's 5 or 6 or 7 courses. I can't remember, but I just remember it went on for ages. The waiters would literally dance around the table sometimes. There would be live music in there. It's a very, very big event. If you like food, the quality of food was very good actually. I was quite surprised by the quality of food because I didn't have high expectations for £38 per night. The food definitely has a Mediterranean flavour to it, and it should do because Costa are an Italian cruise line. If you like pasta, if you like everything covered in cheese, you're going to be just fine on a Costa cruise. When I was on my Costa cruise, the ladies who we were sat with were constantly trying to smuggle us drinks from their drinks package. It was a very difficult situation for me because obviously I appreciated these ladies' generosity, but also I really didn't want my waiter to get in trouble because he might get in trouble if he saw that people were sharing drinks on the table. We did buy a water package though, so we mostly stuck to drinking water with dinner. I have to be honest here for a minute, I was not very impressed with the buffet on my Costa cruise. That said, I am so amazed that there was any food included for £38 per night. They did have afternoon tea for 1 hour in the afternoon, which we did normally go to. That was actually the only time when you could get a cup of tea during the day for free. On most cruise lines, the buffet is open pretty much all of the time and you can go and you can get a cup of tea or coffee, but on Costa Cruises, that's only within that afternoon tea hour. They did have food there too, little sandwiches and cookies and various things. It wasn't to my taste, but for £38 per night, I think anything is a bonus. I think it's important to know that when cruising with Costa, the buffet does actually close between meals. Amazingly, on most cruise lines, they tend to just move things around and they don't really have to actually close the buffet, but sometimes the buffet would be closed for 2 hours at a time, and of course that was when I was really hungry. One day I woke up at about 5 to 10 and breakfast closed at 10 that day and lunch didn't start till 12. And I know this is a very first world problem, but when you're on a cruise you get used to eating constantly, and it just took a bit of getting used to that there were some times where I couldn't eat. If I was to cruise with Costa again, I probably would just bring some biscuits on board and I would definitely buy a drinks package. When you go to the main dining room, most of the things on the menu are included in your cruise fare, but there are a few things that do cost extra on the bottom of the menu. I, to be honest, didn't even read the things that cost extra because I wasn't in the mood to pay extra for any other food. And there's so much food included, you can just look at everything that is included. I have to say the menus felt like they were written in Italian, maybe partly translated into English, but there were a lot of words on there I didn't know. I'm not a big foodie. If you're someone who's into your food, maybe you speak Italian, you might understand the menu better than me. It wasn't a problem, to be honest. It was quite nice sometimes to order something and get a surprise, but I did just feel a bit silly sometimes not being able to really understand the menu. On some cruise lines you'll find additional complimentary options, but there aren't any more on Costa Cruises. It is just the main dining room and the buffet. There is room service, but there is a charge for that, so I didn't do that either. It is totally possible to cruise with Costa without spending an extra penny on food. I did it, but it's also possible to cruise with Costa and spend a lot of money on food if you want to. There is a lot of entertainment included on Costa Cruises. Generally speaking, Costa Cruises are very loud, they're very colourful, they're very bright, there's music playing all of the time, there's balloons, there's confetti, there's all kinds of things. If you don't speak Italian, it can be quite difficult to join in with things like trivia and game shows because you're not going to understand what they're saying. That said, you can still wander around the ship, bump into things happening, and anything you can do I just view as a perk. The entertainment in the theatre was actually much better than I thought it would be. Of course it is difficult when the audience speak multiple languages. We did watch Voice of the Sea, which is similar to the TV show The Voice, but at sea, and it was quite funny because someone would come up and they would sing maybe in German, and then the cruise director or whoever was doing it would translate the German into English for the audience and then translate that into whatever language the judges spoke, and then translate back the answers from the judges into English for the audience and then into the other language for the person who maybe didn't speak English. So it did take a long time. It definitely was entertaining and it was much better than I thought. I couldn't believe that there was really anything included in a Costa cruise for £38 per night, so I was quite impressed. There are plenty of other things that you can spend your money on a Costa cruise. You can buy Wi-Fi, you can have photos taken, you can go to the spa, you can eat in specialty restaurants. There definitely is the potential to spend a lot of money on a Costa cruise, but it's totally possible to go on there and spend almost nothing. I say almost nothing because you're probably going to have to buy some water or something for dinner. Eating dinner without any drink doesn't really sound very tempting, but I would very strongly recommend that you buy a drinks package if you do cruise with Costa. I think it just makes everything a lot easier. I really enjoyed my cruise with Costa and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is considering a really cheap cruise. That said, go with an open mind, remember how much you've paid. It's cheap and cheerful, you get what you paid for, there's not that much included, but you can go on and spend very little. I would personally recommend you buy a drinks package, but apart from that, just sit back, relax, people watch because there are so many interesting people on Costa Cruises. They are singing, they are dancing, they're big family groups, they're having a great time. It's very lively, it's very colourful, it's very bright. If you like this video, please subscribe. I bring you a new video every single week on a variety of cruise lines. That's it from me this time, so I'll see you in the next one.